Usually in Disney princess movies, at the center is a love story where every other character is either a villain, an animal/fairy helper, or an NPC.
Who are you people? Who cares?
So what happens when instead the king and royalty as a whole are quite often the cause of all the trouble? This is my third Sophia the First video, and going into this baby show, I was not expecting the social commentary, but I promise you it's there. You have to trust me. But lovers, welcome back to the reexplore series, where we take another look at shows I've already watched the entirety of for the lore series to dissect overlooked characters, story arcs, themes. As always, my videos are not intended for kids. We overanalyze these shows for funnies. So either have fun with us and giggle a little, otherwise there's the frickin' door. You thought my Ruby and Jade video covered the entire capitalism critique Sophia the First has to offer? Think again. Also, I hate to break it to you this early in the video, but we do live in a capitalistic society. No! Yeah. Sorry. Here's my sponsor. My husband and I have a joint bank account, so not only do I have to keep track of my subscriptions I thought I made, but we're also paying for subscriptions Ben made forever ago that he forgot about. Thank goodness for this video sponsor, Rocket Money. Rocket Money is a personal finance app that allows you to manage subscriptions, lower bills, make a custom budget, and grow your savings all in one place. I definitely needed this guidance. Like I said, I went to cancel subscriptions and I saw a subscription I never made. My husband made this subscription a while ago, and with Rocket Money, we were able to easily cancel it. Hassle-free. We saved money we didn't even know we were spending. Rocket Money has helped its members save $740 a year when you use all of the app's premium features. They also helped its members save over $500 million in subscriptions. Daily life adds up. These automatic subscriptions that you forget you even subscribe to adds up, and it can get really overwhelming. That's why I'm so happy I could introduce you to Rocket Money. They have helped me out so much in day-to-day life. Take control of your finances today. Scan the QR code on screen or click the link in the description below to get started for free. Once again, either scan the QR code or click the link in that description to get started for free. Thank you so much to Rocket Money. Now back to Sophia the First. Today we are looking at King Roland's overworked employees, namely Baileywick the Castle Steward and Cedric the Royal Sorcerer. I feel like I talked about Baileywick less because he overall has way less moments, so let's talk about him first. From his first appearance in the premiere movie, Baileywick is shown as nothing but professional and punctual. Yes, he is also kind, but his main role in Sophia's life is to help her adjust to this stuffy royal schedule. Before Baileywick even speaks, his first second of screen time is releasing doves to place a crown on Sophia's head. It's a really good representation of his job and this world. Other than overseeing the king's schedule, Baileywick also gives the other castle employees their tasks for the day. He delegates. So him having these carrier doves do this work under him perfectly fits his job description. As I discussed in my main lore video, these animal servants are not uncommon, but they are overlooked to the point where they're doing all of this work to get food, and the royals just aren't giving them any. Bruh. Immediately characterizing the king as thoughtless, ungrateful, and spoiled. This is a castle, not a barn. Shoo, shoo. Baileywick is the main person feeding the king with a silver spoon and upholding this classist system of oppression, and doing so with the biggest smile on his face. Why? In Cedric the Sorcerer's first second of screen time, he is seen trying to keep his composure. Every muscle in his face is so tense. So much like everyone else there, he is performing. Look at this crowd real quick. They are mannequin-like. These grand shows of wealth are so forced and unnatural. You feel Sophia's level of discomfort at all this. The moment Cedric tries to make flowers fall from the sky, he accidentally makes a storm, and not only is he scolded by King Roland, but he gets this deadly side-eye from Baileywick. Even when Cedric corrects his mistake, no one is amused. Especially Actually not. Bailiwick, mean muggin' over here. Bailiwick is the kind of person to say, well, if I have to ask, I might as well do it myself. No patience for growth or improvement because it should have just been perfect from the start. When Cedric celebrates him successfully casting this spell, at least King Roland looks slightly amused. At this point, Bailiwick hates Cedric. Also, I'm not giving King Roland any credit because he only playfully laughs after he already introduced Cedric by saying they're stuck with him.
That's Cedric, our royal sorcerer. He comes from a long line of royal sorcerers, so we're stuck with him.
Just mean and cruel. And pointing out that Cedric's family is full of great sorcerers foreshadows just how deep their mutual resentment goes. Cedric and Bailiwick's first interactions with Sophia are back to back. First, Cedric the sorcerer bumps into her and says, "Watch where you're going." Dude, she's like 5, relax. And then Cedric the sorcerer immediately trauma dumps about how much he hates his job, he hates using magic to do gestury bullshit, and how he'd rather be slaying dragons. Then he disappears just in time for Bailiwick to slay. Instead of lamenting about his job, Bailiwick has great pride in it. Some would say, too much pride. He succinctly explains to Sophia who he is and where she needs to be. While Cedric scolds Sophia because he bumped into her, Bailiwick scolds her stepbrother James for talking with a mouthful of food. They're like the children's uncles. There's a level of comfort there. Bailiwick shows Sophia her new room and she is amazed. Meanwhile, this is all standard procedure for Bailiwick. He even calls a servant with this rope just to show Sophia how to use it. This first episode never sat right with me. Look at how all these servants are staring at the floor, as if looking into the eyes of this child will turn them to stone. So as much as Bailiwick works his ass off, he isn't submissive to the point of dehumanization. Like, the fact that this treatment was normalized and never directly addressed is a damn shame. It's creepy and sad, honestly. Stepdad King Roland unknowingly gave Sophia the Amulet of Avalor, thinking it was just a family heirloom. They just have so many jewels they can't even keep track of all of them. But Cedric the sorcerer immediately knows the name of the necklace and that it possesses power he wishes to take. He says he wants to use the Amulet of Avalor specifically to take over the kingdom, framing this hand-rubbing, Cruella de Vil hair-having dude as some sort of villain because surely the royals are in the right. Right? No one, not even Cedric, was aware of the fact that a teenage girl was trapped in that very necklace, instilling morals onto whoever wears it, so Elena would not have let him take over the kingdom anyway. Yeah, this necklace led to one of the best spin-off shows I've ever seen, which I also covered and need to re-explore. They expertly handled this little mystery, because if he knew Elena was in there, that would have completely changed his character. Luckily, Jafar, he is not. As they prepare for Sophia's first ball, we hear Bailiwick barking demands at the other castle servants. Goldware, not silverware. Make it work. I'm not paraphrasing, by the way.
I want the goldware, not the silverware. This is a royal occasion, not a picnic.
Sorry, sir.
Make it work, everyone.
Also, it always confused me that it seemed like the kids were meeting for the first time for Sophia's princess coronation. Like, why were the kids not at the wedding? Back to the party. There's so much frivolousness. We see the sweeping shot of the ballroom. Very much Beauty and the Beast. Bailiwick tries to encourage Sophia that she'll shine, but when she feels like she doesn't measure up, she goes to someone who knows how that feels all too well. Cedric the sorcerer. Even the tower they put the poor guy in seems villainous. I never realized how many of Bailiwick and Cedric's scenes are back to back, but it makes so much sense narratively. We have the royals' biggest cheerleader, followed immediately after by their biggest hater, their biggest op. That's what everyone's saying nowadays. Cedric and Bailiwick are like Sebastian and Ursula. I feel like that comparison works really well, because Sebastian kind of acts as a royal advisor as well, and Ursula possesses all of this magic and that's why she was cast out. I don't know why I give so much grace to Ursula. I just feel like we never heard why the king cut her off. I don't know. I feel like there's two sides to that story. But Bailiwick totally fits in that character archetype, that kiss-ass character archetype. Once upon a time, Disney knew what they were good at. Why remake when you can just reinvent? Spice it up, goddamn. Anyway, when Sophia goes to Cedric for some sort of dancing spell for the ball, he instead gives her a sleeping spell so he can snatch the necklace. But with Sophia being the one to cast the spell, Cedric also goes to sleep.
Go to sleep, go to sleep, go sleep, little pig, go to sleep.
Cedric's biggest obstacle is that he's discouraged by everyone, and he's overlooked and all the trauma. But his second biggest obstacle is that he's genuinely stupid. You want to see another incredibly stupid Cedric plan? In the season 1 episode, A Royal Mess, Sophia's stepbrother James defies his father's rule not to play ball inside, and accidentally destroys the stained glass window Roland was so excited to surprise Miranda with. Now, when this kid's brilliant plan to cover it up ends up destroying it even more, who do the kids turn to for help fixing the window and also keep their secret? Of course they turn to Cedric. I know it's mostly because he's magical, but I do find it funny that they subconsciously know he's not as loyal. Baileywick would rat them out so quickly. But Cedric, of course, uses this opportunity to try and snatch the amulet from Sophia. But this is before he cared about getting caught, I guess. So his master plan for this episode is creating this really cool potion. What does this potion do? You just dip your wand in it, and then whatever you point your wand at brings anything towards him really quickly. It couldn't have done that before? You needed a potion for that? So his plan is essentially taking Sophia's amulet right in front of her eyes. No invisibility cloak, no disguise, just taking it. He could have done that anytime. In fact, why don't you just try and take it with your hands at that point? What's stopping him? Is he worried about Sophia outrunning him? Whatever, dude. Cedric sees the damage done to the royal stained glass portrait, and he looks so amused. If he wasn't so focused on the amulet, I think he would have reveled in this longer. I think he would have actually praised the kids. But his brilliant snatching spell ends up going so badly. It ends up sucking Cedric right into the stained glass. Don't ask me how, don't ask me why. They just needed a little goofy gag. After James frees Cedric from the stained glass, it shatters even worse than ever before, right in front of King Roland. And how does Cedric repay the child that just saved his life? He tells on him immediately.
It was the children!
What a jerk. I love that guy. Sophia says she's the one that broke the stained glass mural because she knows how important it is for her brother to go to the circus, acting like the clown he is. And for an upsetting amount of time, James just lets her take the fall. You may also be voiced by Zach Callison, but Steven Universe would never. After Baileywick takes Sophia to her room, he basically says, hey, I know I've known you for like a second, but I know for a fact it was James, because that sounds like some shit he'd do, and it doesn't sound like you'd do that at all. Sweet of you to try and help him, but a lie is still a lie. As much as he's spitting facts, it doesn't read as a lecture. The execution was so perfect. It was so sweet and calm. He was just truly giving advice.
I didn't think about it that way.
Maybe next time you will.
Very paternal, in fact. He parents them more than the actual parents. And to make sure it didn't feel like a punishment, he has peppermint tea with her. He's such a sweetie. Baileywick, he's such a confusing character because he's so well loved, and you see why. But then you have moments like this where he's so cold to non-royals, and no one acknowledges it. It really weirds me out. Like, what the hell was that? At the beginning of my Sophia the First lore video, I critique reviews of this show, saying that it sends a bad message, but now I kinda see what they mean. Because what do you mean Sophia's two friends that are barely seen throughout the series are hated to hell and back just for being normal children? But the royals and Baileywick are never even questioned, even though they're seen constantly dehumanizing people. Baileywick really said, ew, do better, poor. And you all thought he was right? Or did you just dismiss it as easily as he dismissed that child? What are we doing? One weird ongoing joke season 1 is that Sophia cannot pronounce Cedric's name. She keeps calling him Cedric, no matter how many times he corrected her.
Mr. Cedric?
Cedric!
Also worth noting, no one else corrected Sophia. They didn't care that she was calling him the wrong name. She's the princess. His name is whatever she wants it to be. But kinda suspicious that she constantly messed up the name Cedric, but never trips up on Baileywick's name, which I assume is way more uncommon. I think they needed this annoying ongoing gag to act as an obstacle for their friendship progressing. And they also had no way of resolving this, so season 2 she just randomly starts saying it correctly and he is overjoyed. He needed a win.
Hi, Mr. Cedric.
It's Cedric! Wait, you got it right.
Go what right?
My name!
Now, even though Baileywick's skills are regarded more highly than Cedric's, that doesn't mean Baileywick is fully respected. No song about how loved he is can overshadow the fact that this old man does not have a life. Because his job's the only thing he has, my man gets no ass. Now, we already discussed this episode in my Ruby and Jade reexplore, but let's take another look at Baileywick's day off, because this dude's relationship with his job is unhealthy, and that's putting it lightly. He spoils these children, including Sophia. Before the song We Can Always Count on Baileywick, he casually drops that it's his birthday. And Sophia thinks he should celebrate, to which she says,
A job well done is celebration enough.
No!
So it seems like they're setting up a lesson about work-life balance, right? Doesn't it seem that way? King Roland seems so proud of that fact. Another concerning lyric, he's always there. He's everywhere. They're putting him on such a pedestal because he oversees everything all the time. That's not normal. That's not healthy. Take that line out of context and it sounds like a religious line about God.
He's always there. He's everywhere.
The actual visuals in the song are just as ridiculous. He'll make wrong things right, and then he just gives the parasol to the queen and the stick to the king. They couldn't have done that themselves. I know this phrase is overused, but this is definitely weaponized incompetence on the part of the royals. Baileywick encourages it by infantilizing them, and there's a level of mutual worship that truly brings out the worst in everyone involved. King Roland, probably encouraged by his wife Queen Miranda, not only commands Baileywick to have a day off, but also invites Baileywick's brother, Nigel. It seems like progress, but we do get further confirmation that Baileywick's job prevents him from living.
We don't get to see each other much because Wiki just works.
Through a very quick flashback, we see that Baileywick was always eager to please, usually at his own expense. When he was younger, he'd pick all the apples, while his brother would eat them all. Even back then, he was a servant. And nothing has changed. This episode enrages me so much. Baileywick misses all of his birthday plans with his brother, who he never sees, so that he could instead fix every problem the kids have. Really important problems, like James's pirate ship treehouse. A branch broke off of it. He's not only giving away all his free time to these children, but he also fixes this cosmetic feature of the treehouse by giving away his walking stick.
Princess Amber.
Whoa, that sounds like a real emergency. She sounds horrified. What happened? Her cookies were red and not pink.
Oh, brother!
Baileywick bails on his brother again to fix this horrific oversight. Nigel is heartbroken that his brother is wasting away his life spoiling the royal family. The person who pulled him away from his last birthday activity was Sophia. We really thought the royal entitlement wouldn't get to her, but in some episodes it did. It's so tough to watch. She makes this old guy capture all the butterflies for them so they can continue to paint them. Oh Lord. When Baileywick is finally back with his brother, another one of the castle servants tells him it's time to prepare for the royal supper, and then throws in,
It's time to start preparing the royal supper.
That it is. I'll meet you in the castle, Violet.
Very good. I can't wait to hear all about your day off.
No. Because even if the kids didn't pull him away every second of this day off, It is not a day off if you still have to work at night. Sophia felt guilty after her mom semi-scolded her, but their solution is stupid. I'm sorry. They have a redo party for him in the boat-themed treehouse so he could fake apple pick, eat ice cream, and pretend to fish. That sounds really boring.
You're not just the castle steward. You're part of the family.
Sweet in theory, but his family is his family, actually. His brother, who he never gets to see because of you, is standing right there. And this sentiment only encourages the same lack of boundaries that made him throw away his whole birthday to begin with. Let him do things away from you guys. You didn't solve anything. Now, on the opposite side, we have Cedric's family, mainly his dad and his sister. Unlike Nigel, Cedric's family doesn't encourage him to take time off. They actually encourage the toxic workplace. In the Season 2 episode Mystic Meadows, Cedric visits his parents. The Mystic Meadows is a sorcerer retirement home that Sophia's Buttercup's troupe is going to. Most of Cedric's arc I actually discuss in the main lore video, as I said, but one detail I didn't notice until now is that the first one to point out that Cedric's parents live in Mystic Meadows was Baileywick. Perhaps this was just a throwaway line for Sophia to gain this information and encourage Cedric to visit them. Or maybe Baileywick just likes talking about Cedric's parents because they are renowned. This family legacy of royal sorcerers haunts Cedric. And his father doesn't make things any easier, taking every opportunity to roast his son. I forgot how much of his father's belittlement was just direct comparison. Like, it isn't I'm trying to teach you so you can be the best you can be. He is directly saying to his son, I'm better than you.
Since only the best come here for their rest, I wouldn't start planning your stay.
Absolutely fucked. Friendly Magic Quest master, he is not. His mom clearly loves Cedric and hates how the dad keeps insulting him, but she doesn't shut it down enough.
More like Cedric the So-So.
Goodwin.
If my husband talked to my kid like that, I wouldn't just say his name disapprovingly. I'm serving divorce papers.
She's the nicest friend you've ever had, Cedricans. Come to think of it, she might be the only friend you've ever had.
See, now why is that necessary to point out? All his father needed to snap out of the emotional abuse was someone to tell him to stop interrupting. Someone other than Cedric, because he doesn't respect him. So Sophia vouches for Cedric. All it took this whole time was one royal vouching for him. Cedric the Sensational. That's always how you should have viewed your child. But everyone lives off of royal validation. It's disgusting, quite frankly. Also, weird little thing I've never understood. They implied that Cedric's parents are watching him through this portrait back in the Season 1 episode Cedric's Apprentice. But right after they say they've been spying on him, he sings a whole song about wanting to overthrow the king. So I dismissed this back in the day as just Cedric's imagination. But now I see Wormwood the Raven reacting to Cedric's parents popping out of the portrait. So he really did expose his evil plan, but I never thought about that. Oh, maybe the song is just in his head. Also no. Because guess who scolds him about being loud and disturbing the king? You already know it's Bailywick the kiss-ass.
Learning magic.
How wonderful. You'll have to teach Cedric some when you're done.
Very funny, Baileywick.
Haha, yeah. Good one, Bailywick. We're laughing it up. Leave Cedric alone, Buttercup.
The end of bullying begins with you.
Dunking on Cedric is so normalized, people are taking shots at him all the time. King Roland wants to show up the braggy King Magnus. Yes, that's actually his name. Perfect.
Magnum Dom.
So King Roland asks Cedric to spruce up these gargoyles. Glad he has his priorities straight. And when Cedric does too good of a job by bringing one to life, Roland scolds him, once again reminds him his father was better at magic. Cedric wants to try again, but he's hit with a sassy, don't bother. I wish this wasn't right in front of Queen Miranda. She even comforts the crybaby king when he says, "Oh, can Cedric do anything right?" It's not just the bullying, it's also the bystanders. Sophia is the only person to ever help Cedric. Also, another inconsistency about the painting parents. In Cedric Be Good, his mom pops out of the painting, encouraging him to steal the amulet, but in person she gives off a completely different vibe. Wow, she's a great friend, Cedric. Now I'm the mom from the painting. Push the kid down the stairs and rob her. She can't tell off her husband to be nicer to his son, but she's supposedly enabling her son to take over Enchantia. Bailywhoops is a great episode for both Cedric and Baileywick. When King Magnus comes to visit again, we meet his castle steward Slickwell and his royal sorcerer Greylock the Grand. The constantly mogging Slickwell has a very obviously villain-coded name, and he does not disappoint. Slickwell wants Baileywick's job so badly. He plans an elaborate sabotage. This pin that looks like my earrings, 2 snakes intertwined, causes whoever's wearing it to be incredibly clumsy. So this Botoxed Chad gives it to Baileywick. Elder abuse. From Baileywick's very first slip, he is mortified, apologizing profusely to the king, who offers Baileywick all the grace in the world, a privilege Cedric never gets. Slickwell really easily gets in his head. He makes Baileywick think he's getting too old for the job. And through this episode, we see the only scenario that would rip this far too loyal man away from his job. He would only leave for the good of the royal family. The king and queen even beg Baileywick to stay, saying he's family. There we go with that word again. If Cedric were better at his job, he'd also be family.
Don't bother.
Greylock the Grand and Cedric are competing throughout this episode, and it starts off malicious with Greylock pretending he doesn't even know Cedric's name. But as the episode progresses, they realize how well they work together, with the climax being these 2 sorcerers saving the royals. And let it be known, everyone sees that they're both using their magic, and Roland only thanks Greylock until Greylock vouches for Cedric. Why does King Roland just assume Cedric did nothing? I think the royals being married to people's reputations is very fitting, because when we think about what makes Sophia different from the rest, it's that she's patient, it's that she believes in change. When Cedric saved his life, when Cedric saved Sophia's life, King Roland never called him a friend. He never called him family. With Baileywick, on the other hand, he's throwing the word friend around all the time.
To the best castle steward a king could ever have, and a great friend. To Baileywick.
Because Roland values people being reliable, and he's already made up his mind that Cedric is not. A very disposable way of looking at people, but again, based on everything we know about these royal pains, it makes sense. It's very in character. In the episode The Buttercups, we see the king's fear that something will happen to Sophia while she's out with her Girl Scout-like troop. This is of course because King Roland has lived a very cushy life for the most part. Oh, and he also experienced a massive loss that makes him so anxious he sends Baileywick to go with Sophia on this campout. Baileywick, as always, takes his orders very seriously, and the order he got this time was not a single scratch on Sophia. So Baileywick holds her hand, carries her, protects her from these tiny birds, and he even brings a throne on the go so she doesn't have to sit on the ground. Sophia is beyond embarrassed.
Not a single scratch. Princess, allow me!
Baileywick, I can do it myself.
Yes, but why should you when I can do it for you?
Why should you when I could do it for you? Is this guy's entire job description. This level of coddling, much like he did in Baileywick's Day Off, stifles growth, but here we see him finally learning this lesson. Of course he has to learn this from Sophia, who's grounded enough because she's lived a normal life, but when all is said and done, he had to kiss ass and give props to King Roland, even when he was supposed to be complimenting Sophia.
You should have seen the way she took charge and led the other girls. It would have reminded you of, well, yourself.
Literally, no, she doesn't at all. In the episode Mom's the Word, we see that there is a literal language barrier between Baileywick and the common folk. Prince James and Princess Amber had to talk to this fisherman because even they know how to be more down-to-earth than Baileywick does.
Excuse me, kind sir. Might we inquire about engaging your vessel for a brief yet utterly vital excursion?
Huh? We need to borrow your boat.
It's an emergency.
Why didn't you just say so?
We really got to see him be a diva in this episode when he was hexed by a witch and turned into a frog. I don't know why I swallowed a fly. This breakdown was so real. Now I want a gay Princess and the Frog with 2 drag queens, but the one that's a frog is disgusted the whole time. You broke me out of the spell, so thank you, but I'm also not gonna be with you because you kissed a nasty little frog, you freak. Girl, you were the frog. Okay, victim blaming much? Being at the tail end of a spell might teach him not to mess with a magic man like Cedric.
Oh man, he's a magic man.
Let's talk about the Cedric climax. The plan to take over the kingdom, that almost worked. It was handed to Cedric on a silver platter, and the only reason it was thwarted was due to his own character development. In the Season 4 premiere, The Day of the Sorcerers, it's revealed that Cedric has been invited to join this new group, the Order of the Wand, led by the evil sorcerer Grimtrix, and made up of other sorcerers we've met throughout the series, including King Magnus's sorcerer Greylock the Grand. It's amusing to see all of his castle staff pop up, wanting to backstab him, because he's such a boastful asshole. It's nice to see that he's getting his comeuppance too. So yes, apparently it is not uncommon for these magical workers to feel like their talents are being wasted. This whole group has grown resentful of their leaders, making them do silly tricks and taking credit for their wins. It seems like a system problem. I forgot until this rewatch that Sophia actually overheard this meeting, and Cedric was briefly able to convince her that he's trying to take down the evil sorcerers from the inside. Oh, Sophia, you fool. We then get that Cedric song that's kinda sexy, where he questions everything. And the devil on his shoulder, in the form of Wormwood, convinces him to follow through with the plan, because even though Sophia is a good friend, that doesn't change the fact that everyone else hates him and mocks him. So they need to pay. This song is so good, dude. But now it seems that I've changed. I don't know what to do. My evil dreams could come true, but I'm not sure I want them to. The visual of him smiling wider and wider as he throws his bullies around, you kinda wanna root for him. I don't know why Wormwood was so insistent on them showing Sophia their whole hand before the plan is even successfully executed. TV Tropes calls this just between you and me, and I love how they point out just how stupid it is. Let me read a bit. Villains have the urge to gloat. There's something irresistible about twisting the knife that last little bit before finishing things. After all, what even is the point of a carefully laid scheme if you haven't told anyone just how ingenious and intricate it actually is? Rather than activate the needlessly complicated death trap right away, they will pause to outline their evil plan to the hero and often include information on how to stop it. The moment Cedric gets back to the castle to freeze everyone, we see Baileywick being the nicest to him that he's ever been, asking him how the sorcerer's convention was, and giving him this giant adorable smile. But Cedric unsurprisingly hates this guy, and revels in freezing him before using him as a coat rack. This was the PG version of lick this boot cause that's all you do anyway. Sophia, heartbroken, looks at Baileywick before flying right past the guards that are also frozen. Grandpapa! I will avenge you! And you too, you guys also, I don't have time to pretend to care. Totally opposite of what they did in Descendants that one time, remember? Evie delivers this bone-chilling news.
Hannah turned to stone.
No, they got Hannah! Oh, God. Who is Hannah? Even the wiki doesn't know who Hannah is. Unfortunately, we never get to see Baileywick's reaction when he unfreezes and hears about what Cedric did. It feels like a wasted opportunity. Here's how I think it'd go. Cedric, you've proven today that you are no sir. So remove the first C and the E and the R from your name. What? Sir? C-E? Oh, Dick, you're calling me a dick. And that's me being censored on the Disney Channel. because you don't even want to know what I want to say to you right now. These royals are my life, and if I didn't have orders from them to be kind to you, I would remove the rest of your name too. The rest of my name? I'm saying I'd remove your dick! Yeah, this confrontation between Cedric and the king was a long time coming, but everyone else's reaction to this was also very telling. Again, maybe it's just because Amber was scared, she was just frozen by him, but look at how happy she is to see Cedric dragged away. Sophia barely touched on the motive behind this betrayal, the years of abuse. Instead, to defend Cedric, she said, "He didn't freeze me, though." I mean, I know I already talked about it, but that's nuts, right? It was difficult to see Cedric groveling at the end, because even though the king acknowledged the role he played in all of this, it was, as always, completely uneven. I understand why. Cedric didn't just threaten the king, he threatened the whole royal family, except for Sophia. And again, Sophia must be off of her game, because every time she sticks up for Cedric, it's just so weak. You know, Amber was mean to me also, but I forgave her. Sophia, he wants us dead. This is not an exaggeration. She actually compares him freezing everyone to Amber's bullying in the first episode. Back to Baileywick. In Gizmo Gwen, we see him challenging Amber a bit, encouraging her to make the castle staff's life a bit easier. Princess Amber is determined to make this party perfect, and Baileywick really tries to steer her away from this mindset. A party doesn't have to be perfect for it to be fun. He notices his crew's morale dipping, and even alerts Amber to this, hoping to instill a bit of empathy. Meanwhile, Sophia is encouraging Gwen, who works in the kitchen, to follow her dream of being an inventor. When Gwen's first bowl painting gizmo fails due to a missing screw, we get to see Baileywick's lightning-fast reflexes. Amber is so worried about her party being destroyed, she doesn't even thank Baileywick for saving her life and risking his own to turn this damn machine off. And after all of this, the first time we've seen him advocate for both the royals and the employees, he's rewarded by pedaling on this musical bicycle for the whole party.
Let's strike up the band!
That's easy for you to say, Your Majesty.
Was that a bit of backtalk directed at the king? I mean, he does continue pedaling because he lives to serve. But still, he's a bit more of a real person as opposed to a prissy performer, just fine with anything. I love to see it. That definitely shows a bit of growth. In Season 4's The Elf situation, we once again see how the royals center themselves, even in celebrations meant for their workers. It's Castle Staff Day, so the king and queen are taking the castle staff out for a picnic with them. Which is nice, don't get me wrong. If I heard this out of context, I'd be like, oh, amazing. They're showing appreciation for their employees. But here's the thing. Every day off, every fun outing, they're never alone. They're always with the royal family.
Every birthday party, I'll be there. Every Christmas, I'll be there.
They have truly dedicated their entire lives to them. In this episode, Baileywick is also sick, and Roland orders him to rest up, so we see Baileywick's room for the first time, and sheesh, you know what? This may be partially why they're so loyal, no joke. We've seen village rooms and village beds. They are a quarter of this size, if that. Anybody with any job in the castle are probably getting better living arrangements than all of Dunwich. So there is incentive. Cedric wouldn't be as grateful for castle living, even without the emotional abuse, just because he was brought up in the castle. He's never lived in the village before. We see more of Cedric's childhood in the Season 4 episode Through the Looking Back Glass. And it is exhausting to see just how much he has to prove himself even after his redemption. We've already seen that Cedric has a good relationship with his niece, Callista, but his sister Cordelia is very much stuck in the past. She is condescending and puts him down in a similar way their father did and the king did earlier on. When Sophia sees this, her face falls, knowing how distressing and re-traumatizing this is for Cedric, so she deflects. She distracts. Not as effective as dealing with the situation head on, but hey, this episode just started, and also, it really shouldn't be Sophia's problem to begin with. This kid could have a Steven Universe future level crash out, and I wouldn't blame her. She's carrying this kingdom on her shoulders. It's so fucked. When they take a look at the incident that Cedric's sister always blamed him for, not only do the children prove that Cedric is innocent, but we also get to see the zero hesitation beratement he got from all of the adults. This kid's hair changed to white immediately after being insulted. It stressed him out so much he aged right then and there. Like I said in my first lore video, it was kind for Roland to forgive Cedric after the betrayal, but it was arguably even kinder for Cedric to forgive him after all these years. These two characters that started with completely different backstories, motivation, work ethic, somehow in the series finale are on the exact same page. The children's graduation moves them to tears. They are uncles. They're so proud, so supportive. And for good reason. As much as I was dunking on this family, this next generation of royals is already ruling so much better. As I said, in the first episode, the castle staff wouldn't even look up at them. But now they're blowing kisses to the children. I still think they should be able to have a life outside their job, but at least they look significantly happier. Cedric challenged them way more than Baileywick ever did, which did help push the needle of progress a little bit, but it would be delusional to think any positive change would have happened without the bitchular Sofia. I love looking at these two completely opposite perspectives, even if we only get to see Baileywick in like filler episodes. And I do wish they had more moments together because their dynamic is very funny. Oh, actually, you know what else happened during the finale? Baileywick complimented Cedric. This healed me. I really hope you enjoyed this video. Be sure to subscribe if you did. I once again have to plug what I used to call the video of the summer. Now I'm gonna call it the video of the year. I've been rewatching this bad boy, and it really is good. You know, I'm not apologizing for it. Sorry, I just apologized for it. Have a great day, butt lovers. I demand it. Bye!